Welcome to a journey through time, a voyage across centuries and stories that shaped the human spirit. Imagine a world far different from ours, where every moment was a battle, where survival was the only certainty, and where power, pain, and passion intertwined to write the history of humanity. From the muddy paths of medieval villages, where the stench of filth and fear lingered in the air, to the grand halls of imperial Russia, where a sharp mind forged an empire and wrestled with the heavy chains of tradition, and onward to the vibrant streets of 20th century Mexico, where a woman transformed her suffering into unforgettable art that still speaks to us today. This is not a tale of kings and queens alone. It is the story of endurance, of transformation, of voices that refused to be silenced. As you listen, allow yourself to step beyond time's veil, to see, hear, and feel the lives behind the legends. The Middle Ages, Catherine the Great, Frida Kahlo, 3 worlds, 3 stories, one unbroken thread, the enduring human spirit. Chapter 1, Life in the Middle Ages, the struggle for survival, ****. Imagine stepping into a world where time ticks, slowly if it ticks at all. A world where every breath, every bite, every prayer is a fragile thing. Welcome to medieval Europe. The air smells of wet straw, rotting dung, and wood smoke. A man trudges barefoot along a muddy path, his tunic torn, his face smeared with soot. He does not walk for pleasure. No one does. Every movement is survival. Every action is necessity. There are no clocks, no weekends, no retirement. Time belongs to the land, and the land is ruthless. Life is dictated by the seasons. Winter brings death. Summer brings work. Spring may bring rain too much, or too little, and with it, famine or flood. Autumn, if the harvest is good, brings temporary relief. But nothing is ever certain. The soil is cruel. The average peasant lives in a single-room hut, thatch above, mud below. If he's lucky, a wooden bench to sleep on. If not, straw. Livestock often sleep inside to avoid thieves or the cold. There is no chimney. Smoke curls along the ceiling before escaping through cracks. The woman cooks what little there is: boiled cabbage, black bread, onions if they're lucky, meat, rare, salted. If preserved, often rotten. Illness is normal. Sores fester. Teeth rot. Children cry through the night from hunger or fever. Babies die, so do mothers. A stillbirth isn't tragedy, it's routine. The church bell rings. Everyone prays, but faith here is laced with fear. God is distant. The devil is close. Sin is everywhere. Disease is punishment. Misfortune is a test or a curse. The water, don't drink it unless you boil it. Contaminated with waste, it carries death. But boiling costs firewood. Firewood costs labor. So many just drink and hope. Lice there. Always there, in hair, in clothes. So are fleas. Rats scurry between homes. The plague is never far. And then there is the work, endless, bone-breaking work. From sunrise to sunset, ploughing, planting, harvesting, carrying, hands blistered, backs bent. There are no days off, only holy days. And even then, they are filled with obligation and processions. Children work young. By 7 or 8, they tend animals, carry water, collect firewood. School, a dream. Literacy, a privilege for monks and lords. If you're a woman, life is harder. Birth after birth, no pain relief, no rights, beaten. It's legal, speak too much, a sin, own nothing, obey everything. And yet they laugh, they sing, they find joy in moments, harvest dance, a wedding, the sun after long rain, and behind it all, looming, always, death, fast, slow, violent, quiet. Death is neighbor, shadow, and friend. It comes in childbirth, in fever, in wounds. In war, people die before 40, often before 30. No one grows old unless they are very lucky. Justice, brutal, thieves lose hands, witches burn, torture is common. The stocks are a show, a spectacle. Guilt or innocence matters little if you cannot pay. Nobles live differently, grand houses, better food, finer clothes. But they too fear disease, they to die young. Medicine is guesswork, bleeding, leeches, charms. Astrology, priests offer more than faith. They offer what little learning there is, how to read, how to copy scripture. But many are corrupt. Power lies in wealth, and the church is wealthy. Still, in monasteries, some monks preserve ancient texts. In scriptoriums, words are copied, illuminated, bound. Slowly, painfully, a light flickers in the dark, and elsewhere travelers bring stories from the East, from the Islamic world, where medicine is advancing, where scholars debate science. But in Europe, superstition still reigns, and yet the land is full of rhythm, of seasons, of ceremonies, of the changing moon and the passing saints, of songs sung while working, of riddles by firelight. They endure, because that is what humans do. They endure, through storm and rot, through hunger and sorrow, through ignorance and violence. The medieval world is cruel, but within it, flickers of beauty carvings on a cathedral, the sound of a lute, the smell of new bread, the hush of snow remind us that even in the darkest ages, light exists. Chapter 2. Catherine the Great, the enlightened empress. Imagine a young girl of 14, disembarking in a foreign land, surrounded by cold stone, stiff etiquette, and unfamiliar language. Her name is Sophia of Anhalt-Zerbst, soon to be Catherine, and she will become the most powerful woman Russia has ever known. She does not arrive as a queen. She is a political offering, a bride for the awkward, erratic heir to the Russian throne, Peter. But while Peter plays with toy soldiers and insults the Orthodox clergy, Sophia watches, learns, listens. She converts to Orthodoxy, changes her name to Ekaterina, and sheds her past. Her German roots begin to dissolve. She learns to think like a Russian, to speak like one, to command attention with poise. The court is full of whispers. Nobles scheme for favor. Ministers jockey for influence. Every word carries risk, but Catherine remains composed. She studies philosophy by candlelight, reads Voltaire, Diderot, Montesquieu. Ideas blossom in her mind, even as her body withers. In a loveless marriage, Peter becomes Tsar. His rule is erratic. He praises Prussia, Russia's enemy. He mocks the church, alienates the guards. Catherine knows that to survive, she must act. The coup is swift, bloodless, the imperial guard, loyal to Catherine, turns on Peter. He flees. Days later, he is dead, officially of natural causes, unofficially murdered. Catherine ascends the throne, not by birthright, but by ambition. Russia has an empress. Her reign begins in uncertainty. She must earn the trust of generals, clergy, and bourgeois. She writes manifestos, promises reform, claims continuity. She hosts salons, charms ambassadors, and slowly centralizes power. Catherine dreams of enlightenment. She writes to Voltaire, debates Diderot. She commissions new schools, reforms administration, orders a new legal code inspired by separation of powers. But she is no fool. Russia is not Paris. Enlightenment must be tempered by pragmatism. She cannot afford chaos. Rebellion festers in the countryside. Serfs cry for freedom. Nobles fear losing control. The Pugachev rebellion explodes. An ex-soldier, claiming to be Peter III, leads thousands in revolt. Villages burn. Heads roll. Catherine crushes the uprising. Her response is decisive and brutal. She grants more power to the nobility, ties the serfs tighter to the land. Progress halts. Enlightenment ideas are shelved, yet her legacy continues to grow. She expands the empire, annexes Crimea, defeats the Ottomans, sends expeditions into Siberia. Russia's borders swell. Its prestige rises. At court, Catherine builds the Hermitage, a sanctuary of art and intellect. She collects paintings, busts, manuscripts, brings culture to St. Petersburg. Russia is now a European power, and behind her public image is a private woman, complex, passionate. She takes lovers, many younger. Her most enduring relationship is with Gregory Potemkin, general, a strategist, a soulmate. He helps govern, found cities, builds fleets. They share a vision of empire. Catherine rules for 34 years. When she dies in 1796, the Russian throne passes not to a stranger, but to a legacy built by her hand. She leaves behind a stronger, more educated, more expansive Russia, but she also leaves behind questions. Could she have done more for the serfs? Was she a reformer or just another autocrat? History remembers her as a paradox, a woman who loved ideas but wielded power, who admired liberty but ruled absolutely, who rose through intellect, charisma, and calculation. Catherine the Great, empress, strategist, survivor, and perhaps, above all, a master of the possible. Chapter 3. Frida Kahlo, Pain, Passion, and Paint. Asterisk, asterisk, a girl lies still in a hospital bed. Her back is shattered, her body impaled by iron. The room smells of antiseptic and blood. She cannot move, but her eyes burn with life. Her name is Frida, and she is about to become an artist of pain. Born in 1907 in Coyoacán, Mexico, Frida Kahlo grew up in the blue house La Casa Azul. From an early age, she stood out, strong-willed, sharp-eyed, curious. At 6, polio twisted her leg. She recovered but limped for life. Then, at 18, came the accident. A streetcar collided with the bus she rode. A metal rod pierced her pelvis. Her spine broke in 3 places. Her life, as she knew it, ended. But something else began. While confined in bed for months, she began to paint. A mirror was fixed above her bed. Her first subject, herself, always herself. Her body, her eyes, her pain, raw, direct. Honest Diego Rivera enters her life like thunder. He is famous, massive, married. She gives him her paintings. He is stunned. She becomes his student, then his wife, then his equal and his mirror. Their love is violent, erotic. Betrayal meets devotion, infidelities on both sides, but also unmatched inspiration. Frida paints her miscarriage, her broken column of a spine, her crushed pelvis, her monkey, her bleeding heart. her multiple selves. Indigenous symbols swirl with surreal landscapes. Her brow furrows, her lips close, but her eyes pierce through centuries. She embraces Mexicanidad, her country's indigenous past. Wears Taiwana dresses, reclaims Aztec imagery, paints herself as deer, goddess, martyr, jaguar. The personal becomes myth, the myth becomes truth. She joins the Communist Party, hosts Trotsky in her home, hates fascism, loves revolution. But her revolution is inward on the canvas, in her body, in her defiant smile. She paints as her body decays, spinal fusions, amputations, morphine, pain like a second skin. Still she paints, still she smokes, still she laughs, in that raspy voice at death. Her last painting, watermelons, bright, juicy, tight-lid, Viva la vida, live life. She dies in 1954, just 47 years old. For decades, the world forgets her, sees her only as Diego's wife. Then feminists find her, queer scholars embrace her, painters revere her, activists quote her, and the world discovers not a muse but a master, Frida Kahlo, broken yet whole, silent yet loud, forgotten then, immortal. Through her eyes we see not what it means to survive, but what it means to burn. Asterisk, asterisk, chapter 4, Hidden Queens, the Red Queen, and Forgotten. History's asterisk, asterisk, deep in the Chiapas jungle of Mexico lies a city of stone Palenque, and within it a tomb, a woman, drenched in cinnabar, her bones stained red. Who was she? The archaeologists name her the Red Queen. Her tomb lies beside that of Pacal the Great, the famous Mayan ruler, but she is no mere consort. Her burial is rich, royal, sacred. She was a queen, perhaps a ruler, perhaps more. Her bones tell a story, not of weakness, but of power. A crown was hers. Jade jewels adorned her skull. Sacred obsidian lay at her side. She was remembered, buried with reverence, in a history written by men. Women often vanish, but here, in the depths of the earth, she reappears, regal, silent, commanding. The Maya knew women could rule, could command, could speak to the gods. The Red Queen may have been priestess, queen, mother of kings. Her name is lost, but her presence is undeniable. Her rediscovery challenges assumptions about gender, about power, about the past. She is not alone. Across the world, Egypt, West Africa, Japan, women held court, led armies, wrote poetry, preserved peace, but were often erased. History whispers their names in fragments. The Red Queen reminds us they were never absent, only unseen. Beneath the stone, beneath the silence, lies a different story, and in the Red Queen's crimson bones we begin to hear it. Epilogue, Time's mirror, reflections across eras. Time is not a straight line, it coils, curls, echoes. What came before lingers, shaping what comes next. In the mirror of history, we see more than facts, we see ourselves. The filth of medieval streets, the hunger, the silence, the endless tolling of bells for the dead. It is easy to look back and pity the past, but are we so far removed from struggle, from the power of survival? The peasant woman who buried 5 children, did her grief differ from ours? Her prayers, her joys. Catherine's Russia tells us that change comes through force and finesse, that women can reign without crowns of compassion, that ideas are not always enough, that power, when gained, demands compromise. But it also whispers that one person, even in a gilded cage, can reshape a nation. Frida painted her pain so others might name theirs. She turned her body into protest, her art into a revolution. She reminds us that vulnerability is strength, and identity is not fixed but chosen, layered, and worn boldly. And the Red Queen, silent for centuries, shows us that erasure is not oblivion, that every forgotten figure carved from stone, every mother behind a throne, every name lost to time is still part of the story. These women and the worlds they lived in are not relics. They are reflections, warnings, lamps in the dark. They teach us what power looks like, what it costs, what it can give, what it takes away. So we return to the mirror. We look into its cracked surface and see the Middle Ages, the Enlightenment, modern art, buried queens. But we also see ourselves in every ache, every question, every act of defiance. The past breathes, and in the breathless silence of forgotten tombs or the vivid palette of pain, humanity endures. Endurance is our legacy, empire our caution, memory our duty, and history endlessly patient waits for us to listen.